Voice of the Sea, learning from experts across the ocean.
Welcome to Voice of the Sea.
This time on Voice of the Sea, we explore the importance of fish ponds. In ancient Hawaii, fish ponds were a primary source of food for the people. Fish ponds today serve as examples of enduring cultural practice and sustainable farming. The 3-acre Loko I'a fish pond is one of 44 known ponds on the island of Maui.
Malie o maui ke ahea he makani o hale akala. He makani o nauna I ke alali poa. O ka ono ulula I ka aina o kulala ie. He kai malino, kai olu, kai ma oki la. He kai kapua kanalo ai. Kuhula lanina au ke kuapa. Ina po haku ho eu I kalepolepo lai. Vili ia ko ia paa. Ko ie o kauka. Eia ka Loko I'a kapua nā li'i kaulana vivo ole la nā li'i pio ole pi ia e ke kapu ka veloa li'i o Maui nui a kama e komo mai e nā hoa nā kūkulu nā pae e komo mai a hana ia hewa kauaha e ano kauku ahe leo valino
This particular oli or chant was written several years ago because being a Hawaiian cultural site, like a fish pond, we really want to make sure that we try to adhere to any type of Hawaiian protocols. So the purpose of the chant is to welcome people into our environment, into the fish pond, and to set them up and to have good spirits when they come and visit so that they are prepared to come and learn when they come. And so the first paragraph of the oli talks about the environment where Loko I'a fish pond is located. It's along the slope of Haleakala and it's within the ahupua'a of Ka'ono'ulu. And when you take a look around at certain times of the day, there's such a pristine and glassy type of ocean surface that really takes your breath away. And so that's what that first pauku or that first paragraph talks about. And then we look into we acknowledge the people who have been there before us, and that's very Hawaiian to do. And we talk about the ali'i who have been present in the area and how they are famous for being visitors here and being a part of it. Then as we get to the last section of our oli, we enter into the more traditional way of inviting people to come and be a part of our fish pond project. And it's basically acknowledging the people who are our builders, those people who are our supporters, and those who are just there to learn. And in order to enjoy the site, you have to really be in the right frame of mind. So that's what the oli does for someone who comes and visits us.
And when you're performing the oli, what are you thinking about? What is in your mind?
Oh my goodness. It's really a spiritual moment because just doing an oli, you're connecting to your culture. And myself, being a native Hawaiian, I take that definitely to heart. And so I feel the words and I know that as I speak them, I'm bringing life to the words. So every vowel, every syllable that I'm saying, I'm putting my own mana or my own spirit into it. Because if I put my 100% best into it, then I know that the people who are receiving this oli can also feel the love that I have for this fish pond. If you look at the words and you understand what it's talking about and then envision it in your mind, like the first line, Malie ke aheahe makani o haleakala. It's talking about the nice, gentle, swathing breezes of haleakala coming down from the mountains, and then it touches down here onto our fish pond area. And when you visualize this, what the oli does or says, then it really makes sense and you get more of that mana.
Joylynn, you're actually the executive director.
Yes.
And so in that position, what is your goal?
Gosh, my goal, besides doing all the administrative work for the nonprofit and making sure that that stays alive, it really is to connect our youth, our OPO, to our culture and have them appreciate it so that they can malama or take care of it so that future generations can enjoy. Like for us at this moment, we're enjoying this fish pond because centuries ago, other people had taken care of the fish pond. And without them doing what they did, we couldn't appreciate it now. So when you think about where we are in time, we need to do what we can now to take care of this pond for future generations to enjoy.
How did you come to work at the fish pond?
Well, I was actually interning with NOAA at the Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanctuary for a summer. And every day I'd look out of my office to this beautiful view with the fish pond. And that was the first time I ever heard about a native Hawaiian fish pond or been introduced to it. And just naturally wanting to learn more. And at the same time when I was learning about it, our nonprofit was forming, and it just was a natural progression for me to get involved. And little did I know that about 14 years later, where we're at today, that I would still be involved and at this place. But it's my way of leaving my small legacy for future generations. Our fish pond, it is a resource for marine organisms and for the marine environment. But from a cultural standpoint, it's a great way for us to reconnect with our culture. And I always think about our youth and how they're gonna grow up to be. And if I can do my best to teach them using the fish pond as a learning tool to become better people themselves and to be proud of the place where they live and to take care of it, then that's one of my major goals just in life in general that I've learned over these many years doing this.
So getting the kids a chance to be out in the environment and to inquire themselves, what is this fish pond?
Right. I want them to become very curious about, wow, why do I lift up this pohaku and then we see these coralline algae here, and then I lift up another pohaku and then you'll find some opihi stuck to it. Why is it different on this part of the pond than that part? So, they're exploring the fish pond wall, but little do they realize that they're actually learning. And they can be learning sciences, they could be learning math. They're learning without realizing it. And I think being out in the natural environment is a great way for our youth to be able to do so.
And how wonderful that they have a teacher like you to help them do that.
I enjoy it. I learn myself when I'm out there with them. It's always fun exploring it, and you'll be surprised at what some of these kids will say when they're out there. We hope that once we bring one child here, that they'll go home and tell their family about it, and then hopefully that family will return and learn. And it's just a chain reaction that we have going here.
What is working at the fish pond like on a daily basis?
On a typical community work day, when we invite the community to come and volunteer to work on the wall, we first open up with our oli so that we put them in the right frame of mind to think about the work that they're about to do. And then we take them out onto the wall. And everybody's at first getting a little cold entering into the water. And then you got the strong guys who want to lift the biggest pohaku. And then you have the women there who, like me, will do what we can. And so as we're restoring the wall, we like to share our experiences with the people and then show them more about our Hawaiian culture and tell them about the rocks, the placement of the rocks, the history of the place, because it's so rich in wonderful history. And our goal by the end of the 2 or 3 hours that our volunteers are with us is to have them gain a better appreciation of our Hawaiian culture so that the culture can continue to be perpetuated.
And if you could reach your ideal goal, what would it be?
My ideal goal would be to have the fish pond wall completely restored, filled with fish, and be able to provide it for the community, but at the same time use the fish pond as a learning environment for our youth so that they can understand how remarkable our ancestors were as aquaculture farmers and how smart they were, and to try to use that knowledge for the future.
As we talk about this blend of science and culture that's happening here at the fish pond, what are the observational skills and things like that that the students might learn in the fish pond?
So when we have students come and visit the fish pond, we like to integrate science into what they learn. And sometimes we have them go out with quadrats and lay it down on the fish pond wall, especially the areas where we haven't touched in our restoration process yet. And because as they go around with the quadrats and they look at different rocks and they flip them over, and then they can see different invertebrates that are there, different type of shells and marine life there, and then they're able to document and get some data off of that information. And then we have them explore other portions of the wall where it has been restored. And then we have them compare and contrast and see why one thing is happening here and why something else isn't happening there. And then take it one step further and have them figure out, well, what needs to be done in order for us to have a successful working fish pond. We try to have them do the whole scientific method thing without having them realize that they're doing it. But it actually is a good time right now with our fish pond because we do have areas that have not been restored yet. So we have that compare and contrast that we can do with the students. But it's always a learning process when we're all out there.
Turn your love of the ocean into a lifelong career. Join NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, as we unlock the secrets in the deep oceans, track rapidly moving storms, model climate trends, protect and preserve our marine resources, and so much more. It's all in a day's work at NOAA. Find a career that makes a world of difference, enriching life through science, service, and stewardship. NOAA.
The Curriculum Research and Development Group in the College of Education at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. CRDG has been providing quality educational programs and services for over 40 years, serving students, teachers, parents, educators, and experts around the world and here in Hawaii. The Curriculum Research and Development Group, improving schools, improving education. CRDG.
The University of Hawaii's Sea Grant College program, focused on Hawaii's coasts and its communities through sustainable development, safe seafood supply, sustainable coastal tourism, hazard resilience, and healthy coastal ecosystems. Hawaii's Sea Grant.
Exploring Our Fluid Earth is a dynamic curriculum developed by the University of Hawaii's Curriculum Research and Development Group, teaching ocean science concepts through the disciplines of physics, chemistry, biology, and ecology. Exploring Our Fluid Earth is now available freely online. Find out more at exploringourfluidearth.org.